Hello Bits and Bones, my name is Lady V, and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about story interconnectivity. I know, big word for someone that can't even finish a simple short story. Which is what spurred this discussion. There was an open call for submissions for the next HorrorTube anthology put together by Regina's Haunted Library, and the deadline was June 1st. Quick side note, go check out all the HorrorTube community anthologies. This coming one will be the third hosted by Regina, its predecessors being Local Haunts and Served Cold, and there's another put together by Cam Wolf, which features a story by yours truly, called We're Not Home, and all of the proceeds from all of the HorrorTube-ish community anthologies go to a good cause, so it's a win-win. You get some good short horror, and you help some charities too. I'd like to say good luck to everyone that submitted to the Lurking in the Dark anthology that's coming up, and congratulations to all of those that get in. I just couldn't get my shit together quick enough this time. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I was really excited to submit something, and I had a story that fit the theme, but in the end, the story decided it wanted to be something else. Something quite longer than the word count for the call. Now, word counts and future intentions aside, though, I found myself really struggling with what I can only think to describe as interconnectivity. And I thought I'd talk about it to see if any of you, fellow writers, also run across this. I'll make a quick run through of the plot of my story that I was working on to give you context for how interconnectivity managed to be a problem, because it doesn't sound like a problem until it is. So here it was. Plot points. Protagonist and sidekick are doing a questionable and dangerous job that will result in defeating antagonist. Antagonist shows up and kills sidekick. Without sidekick, protagonist has an opportunity to reevaluate. Protagonist says manipulative antagonist things. Protagonist realizes antagonist was the sidekick that they needed all along. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. I know that this sounds stupid and basic, but boiling down any story to its bare bones like that does, trust me. So that was the story, and as much as I knew the end that I wanted, once I got to the part that had to be inevitably dialogue heavy with the antagonist convincing the hero to change sides, I got stuck. I got so stuck. But not stuck in that I didn't know what to have them say to each other. I had too much for them to say to each other. I had at least 3 great talking points for the villain and hero to use to recontextualize themselves to each other and reveal why they were meant to work together all along. They had so much in common. So I write those out, and I rewrite them, and rewrite them again, and have to scrap the scene several times because I overthought it. It no longer feels like the natural progression of a conversation, but rather the jumping and stretching from one topic to another, and it made getting to the conclusion that I already knew I wanted so much harder, because I'd overcomplicated my path to get there. And I figured this must be a problem that other writers face, right? Where you've got so much good stuff to say, or you think you've got so much good stuff to say, that you have trouble getting to the point because needing to feature it all kind of gets in the way. It's too interconnected to the point where you've overdeveloped your story. This is especially hard for me because I write short-form stories, but novelists can experience this too in excessive and unnecessary detail and plot points. So as much as I already had the ending done, and I had a dozen ins for conversation and means to get me there, none of them felt right. It was like I had too many good options that none of them were the right option. I don't know if this means that I'm graduating to longer form short stories, and it's just going to be harder for me to whip out something under 5k words anymore, or if this is a genuine problem, like I'm overdeveloping and ruining my own stories by stretching them out when they don't need to be that long or elaborate. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, ask if anyone else has faced this problem. Have you ever overworked a story that you really liked so much that you ruined it? Because after you do that, it's very hard to get back to where you started, to something simpler. I'm gonna have to put the story down and not be able to come back to it for months because I'm just gonna start falling back into those overused and already written paths that are already not right, you know? I've got to come back to my story later with a fresh mind because right now it is a spider web. So if you've experienced this, definitely let me know in the comments below so I don't feel so weird about it. It's one of those, like, how have you managed this situations where you're just looking at yourself in the mirror and wondering how you got here. If this does become an ongoing problem, you'll see another video soon about the steps that I've enacted to combat overdoing it. But let's just hope that doesn't happen. As always, thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to my patrons. If you'd like to support me and my content, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description below. If this is your first video listening to me, I don't always sound like this. I'm sorry. But yeah, thanks for sticking through to the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.